Hello everyone, in this lecture, let's talk about importing CSV files into Power BI. The approach that we will talk about in this lecture works for comma-separated as well as tab-separated files. In this lecture, we'll be using the Import Data workbook, so make sure you have that workbook opened. Once you are in the Power BI workbook, to import a CSV file, go to Get Data, click on that. In the drop-down menu, choose text/CSV. Then navigate to the Power BI Course Material folder. And then choose the Import Data Customer CSV. Select that file and click on Open. Once the file is opened, you can see some options that you can customize the way we import CSV file. First, you can customize the file origin. This is the encoding of the file. Usually, you want the default setting, which is UTF-8. Optionally, if you know your file is of a specific different origin, you can choose that from the drop-down list. For delimiter, usually we have a comma-separated file, that's why it's called a CSV, right? Optionally, you could also have a colon, equal sign, or other separated files. If you know your file has a specific separator, make sure you choose it from the drop-down list. Finally, you can choose how many rows Power BI uses to automatically detect the data type for your columns. Usually, we just leave this at 200 rows. You can see that with the default setting, Power BI automatically detected our file and successfully parsed its content. But one issue you can notice is the first row should be the column headers, but Power BI did not pick it up, so we will need to fix it later on. Now, click on Load to load the data into Power BI. Once the loading process finished, let's go to the table view and have a look. Select the table that we imported. You can see that the table name follows the name of the CSV file. Click on that. And you can see the table we imported is here. Now let's fix the column header issue. To do that, right-click on your table and choose Edit Query. In the popped-up query editor, go to Transform and select Use the first row as headers. Once we added that step, you can see we already have the first row as the column headers. Now we are happy with the result. Let's go to Home and choose Close and apply the changes. Once the changes are applied, you can see we now have the proper column headers. Perfect. Finally, let's talk about how do we deal with the edge cases where Power BI couldn't automatically detect the encoding or the settings for CSV files. In the tricky cases where the default setting doesn't work for you, you can play with the encoding and delimiter settings and see if you can fix it yourself. If that doesn't work, it's always a good idea to talk to the person who gave you the data. Ask them about the format of the CSV file. Once you learned about the exact encoding and delimiter, apply them to your import process, and then you would have the proper data. Alright, that's it about importing CSV files into Power BI. I hope you have enjoyed this lecture, and I will see you guys in the next one.